A RAK ICC Foundation is a structure used to create central ownership and governance layer above the family wealth. It can hold assets, define who controls decisions, identify who may benefit, and continue beyond the lifetime of the founder. My name is Shiraz Waheed and I'm the co-founder at Lepidus Wealth. And in this video, I'm going to explain what a RAK ICC Foundation is, how it works, when families and business owners usually consider it, and where it fits within the wider international succession and asset protection plan. Before looking at the structure itself, it is important to understand the legal environment behind it. A RAK ICC Foundation is a legal entity registered with the Ras Al Khaimah International Corporate Center. It has its own legal personality separate from the founder, the council member, and the beneficiaries. Once properly established and funded, the foundation can own assets in its own name, and this is different from personal ownership. If you own shares, property, or investment assets directly, those assets remain connected to your personal estate. If succession is triggered, they may be subject to probate, local inheritance procedures, or family disputes, depending on the jurisdiction involved. With the foundation, the ownership layer is moved from the individual to the foundation. The foundation then operates according to its charters and bylaws. These documents set out the purpose of the foundation, who manages it, who may benefit, and how decisions should be made. This can be useful for families who want continuity because the foundation remains in place while the governance rules continue to apply. A RAK ICC Foundation is usually considered when the family needs more structure around ownership and control. It may be used to hold shares in operating companies, investment holding companies, offshore entities, or other private wealth structures. For entrepreneurs, it can help separate business ownership from personal succession. If a founder personally owns the shares of a business, death or incapacity can create delays in decision making. Banks, business partners, and family members may all need clarity on who has the authority. When the shares are held through a foundation, the structure can define how the control continues. The council can keep managing the foundation, and the bylaws can explain how the benefits are distributed or how the future decisions are made. For families, the main value is governance. It allows you to decide who should have control, who should receive benefits, and what conditions should apply. A RAK ICC Foundation can also support asset protection, but the timing and intent matter. It should be created as part of proper planning, not as a reaction to an existing claim or dispute. Now let's discuss how the RAK ICC Foundation structure works. The founder establishes the RAK ICC Foundation and contributes asset to it. The foundation then holds the assets for the purpose stated in the documents. These purposes may relate to family wealth preservation, succession planning, investment holding, or combination of objectives. The foundation is managed by its council. The council is responsible for administration of the foundation and making decisions in line with its charter and bylaws. The bylaws are especially important because they contain the private operating rules. They usually cover how the council members are appointed or removed, how decisions are made, and how beneficiaries may receive benefits, and what happens if the founder is no longer able to participate. There may also be a guardian. The guardian provides an oversight role and helps ensure that the council acts according to the foundation's purpose and the foundation's intentions. The structure works best when these roles are clearly drafted from the beginning. The aim is to create control without making the structure impractical. The founder is the person or legal entity that creates the foundation. The founder usually decides the original purpose, contributes initial assets, and sets the governance framework. Depending on how the documents are drafted, the founder may also reserve certain powers. Reserved powers must be handled carefully. For example, the founder may want the ability to appoint or remove council members, amend certain provisions, or approve major decisions. These powers can be useful, but they should be balanced with overall purpose of the foundation and the tax and legal treatment in the founder's home jurisdiction. The council member manages the foundation. They make decisions, pass resolutions, maintain records, and ensure that the foundation operates within the documents. Now, the guardian is usually appointed to supervise the council. This role is often used where the founder wants an additional layer of oversight, especially after death or incapacity. Now comes the role of the beneficiaries. They are often referred to as qualified recipients, or the people or classes of people who may benefit from the foundation. And then there is also an important role of registered agent that is required for administration and filings for the foundation. Now the next question is that what assets can sit under the foundation? A RAK ICC Foundation may be used to hold different types of assets depending on the legal and practical requirements of each asset class. In many cases, it holds shares in companies rather than holding every asset directly. For example, a foundation may own shares in a RAK ICC company, a UAE holding company, or an international holding company. These companies may then hold operating businesses, investment portfolios, or other property property assets. This creates layering, which can make the structure cleaner for banking, accounting, and governance perspective. For real estate, the position must be checked carefully. Property ownership depends on the rules of the land department in the place where the property is located. For investment portfolios, banks and investment platforms will review the foundation documents, source of wealth, beneficial ownership information, and decision-making powers. This is why the foundation should be designed around the asset map. The assets, jurisdictions, banks, family members, and tax profile all need to be considered together. Now, when it comes to succession and continuity, one of the main reasons families consider a RAK ICC Foundation is the succession planning. If assets are personally owned, they may be frozen or delayed when the owner passes away. Probate may be required, or in cross-border cases, more than one jurisdiction may be involved. A foundation can reduce disruption because the foundation continues to exist. The death of the founder does not automatically require the foundation assets to pass through the founder's personal estate, provided the structure has been correctly established and funded. This can help maintain continuity of control. Council member may continue managing the foundation, the bylaws can specify how beneficiaries are treated, and the guardians can supervise the process if that role is already included in the foundation. This does not remove the need of will or estate planning. A foundation should usually work alongside wills, shareholder agreements, tax advice, and family governance documents. The practical benefit is that the family has a defined framework before the succession event occurs. Now, tax and international planning is also important. A RAK ICC Foundation can be helpful in international planning, but it should not be treated as a simple tax solution. Tax treatments depends on the founder's domicile, residency, citizenship, and the location of the assets, as well as the source of income and the rules in each relevant country. For example, a person who is UK domiciled, US connected, Indian residents, European residents, or connected to another high tax jurisdiction may face different reporting and tax consequences. The foundation may be recognized differently depending on the country reviewing it. This is why substance, documentation, and the purpose matter. The foundation should have clear commercial, succession, governance, or asset holding rationale. If distribution are made to the beneficiaries, those beneficiaries may also have tax obligations in their own country of residence. If the foundation owns companies or investment assets, there may be corporate tax, withholding tax, reporting, or economic substance requirements. The structure should be reviewed from the UAE side and from every major jurisdiction connected to the family. Now, a RAK ICC Foundation may be suitable where a founder wants a UAE-based ownership structure with clear governance, succession planning, and asset holding capacity. It may be useful for entrepreneurs and families with international assets and investors who want a centralized structure outside personal ownership. It may also be considered where the family wants something that feels more familiar than a trust. Some civil law families are more comfortable with foundation because it has its own legal personality and operates through formal documents and a council. It can also work well with offshore layering. For example, the foundation may sit at the top of the structure with companies or SPVs underneath it. Those companies may then hold different assets in different jurisdictions. A RAK ICC Foundation can be a useful structure for families and entrepreneurs who want continuity, governance, and clear ownership layer for cross-border assets. It is most effective when it is planned before problem arises and when the foundation documents are drafted around the real asset base and family objectives. So if you want our help and would like to explore whether a RAK ICC Foundation or a foundation in DIFC or ADGM is suitable for your situation, you can request a personalized asset protection plan by clicking the link in the description below. That's it for today, and I will see you in the next video.